Hi, my name is Nick and I'm from Canlan Sports. Now I'm currently at Duke's Source for Sports where they're gonna give me the lowdown on everything that I need to get on the ice and start playing. Canlan Sports is where you play, but this is where you learn what you need to play. Come, follow me. Hi everybody, it's Nick from Canlan Sports. Now I am joined with Ken from Duke's Source for Sports and also Jacob. Come on, join the shot. Star forward for the Markham Waxers, Jacob here. This is gonna be a fun one, everybody. We're here looking for hockey sticks, preferably the ones that score all of the goals. Ken, what's the first thing that we should be looking for?
Well, the first thing we have to figure out, which way do you shoot? Are you shooting left or are you shooting right?
Jacob?
I shoot left-handed.
Shoot left? And do you shoot left because that's most comfortable, or are you left-handed?
I'm left-handed.
Okay.
I'm right-handed.
You need to figure out which one is most comfortable. It's not a straight correlation to whether you're left-handed or right-handed. Right. I'm a southpaw, and I shoot right. So whichever one is most comfortable for you. The second part we got to figure out is finding a stick that is tall enough for you. Now we're gonna be cutting all these sticks down, so don't be thrown off if it's just, you don't find that perfect one, you need to chop off a little bit, that's fine. You just don't wanna be cutting too much off because that's going to affect the flex.
Right.
Which is one of the last pieces you gotta determine, is finding that right flex. Now the old rule of thumb that we used to have was finding the flex that's about half your weight. Okay. Now that's a good starting point, but once you develop and once you play a little bit more, you're gonna get your own personal preference as to whether you want a stick that is a lot stiffer or you like one that has a lot more whip to it.
And as far as height goes, I mean, Jacob right here, like where would you want the stick to land if you were sizing him up?
So it does partly depend on what position he plays. So for Jacob, who's a forward on his skates, you may want it around the chin. A little shorter stick, allow him to stick handle a little bit better. Defensemen, when they're on their skates, may want the stick at their nose. A little bit more reach so they can poke check.
Right.
You can of course cut it all around if you're not sure what's most comfortable, but just like the flex, it comes down to a little bit of personal preference.
I mean, I also heard too, and I'm just fully pulling this out, longer stick, you just get a little bit more torque, so those slap shots, if you are a defenseman, I guess like just a little bit more power, right?
That's it. You just basically get a little bit more momentum coming out of it. But now conversely for that, a forward who's tight in front of the net might want a shorter stick because they'll be able to get those rebounds a little quicker.
I've also been seeing just a ton of TikToks and people talking about the curve, talking about the I don't know, the bottom half of your stick. How does that factor into it and how can I tell what's right for me?
Well, my advice when you're first starting off is to find a curve that's a little bit more moderate, all right? You don't want that big hook right out of the gate. This will allow you to have better control when you're stick handling. You'll be able to develop your passes a little bit better and be able to get your shot velocity up. If you go with a curve that's too big right away, sure, you'll get that puck off the ice, but the puck's gonna kind of flutter around.
Right.
So my advice is start a little bit more moderate and then try a couple different ones and graduate, and sure enough, you'll be making your own TikTok.
As far as maintenance goes for hockey sticks, I mean, I've seen some NHLers, they just run through these things. I don't have $1 million. Do you have $1 million? No. Okay, so how do we maintain these things so we don't need to be coming back here every week?
Well, there isn't a ton you can do for maintenance when it comes to a hockey stick. Like, I've had a hockey stick that has lasted me over a year. I've also broken a hockey stick in the very first game I used it. Right. That's why it's a good idea to have a backup hockey stick. How many sticks do you have?
3 that I usually bring, but I only bring 2 to all of my games because I think 3 is just a bit too many.
Is there one in particular that scores the most goals?
Yes, my every day and every game stick, I always use that one.
So I particularly have a problem. My stick just doesn't seem to want to score any goals. Like, is that the stick's problem?
Not necessarily. Like, hockey sticks, they are covered with a 30-day warranty, but that covers breakage. That doesn't necessarily cover against non-scoring.
What about the tape job though? Because I have been seeing a lot of people talk about different tape jobs. You know, McDavid's got one, McKinnon's got one, Ovechkin's got one. I'm sure Jacob even has one.
Tape's gonna help protect your blade, All right. And additionally, it's also going to actually absorb a lot of that vibration from impact. So it's going to give you better control of the puck when you're stick handling or shooting. Now, make sure you're using the right tape. You want to make sure you're using cloth-based hockey tape and not the shin pad plastic tape that you may also see on my shelves.
Is there specific colors that work better? I actually saw somebody talking about how black is the best color because you might be able to hide the puck a little bit better. Is there any truth to that?
Now, traditionally, black tape is used on the blade, and white tape is often used on the top. However, there are so many different types of tape now that you can kind of customize your hockey stick. So we have tape in almost every color. We have tape that has superhero logos, country flags, even rainbow tape if you want to represent some pride. So there's a lot of fun you can do with your hockey stick by just selecting the right type of tape.
Now, I know that before we started shooting, Jacob was actually telling me that he has a specific tape job that he does and you model it after a player. Do you want to talk about that, Jacob?
Yeah, so I model after Connor Bedard, and I like his tape job because he goes from heel to toe, and when he stick handles on the ice, heel to toe, it's better because it doesn't scratch the bottom of the blade that much, and when you do the toe drags, it doesn't scratch up the top of the blade.
Okay, well, I would never know that because I'm not good enough to do toe drags, but there you have it.
And that's the thing. There's such a mass variety of different ways you can tape your sticks. It's just about finding the one that's best for you.
Well, speaking about variety, I also know that there is various different prices that are attributed to these hockey sticks. What can I expect to spend if I'm going to buy an entry-level stick?
There's a mass variety of hockey sticks. So there's still some hockey sticks that are made of wood these days, believe it or not. Then different composites, whether it's fiberglass, carbon, graphite. So there's so many different styles, and that's going to affect the price. Now, here at Duke Source of Sports, we find that composites are best just because they are very consistent. Now, the pricing for composite sticks, not as much as you think. For kids just starting off, it's only going to be about $50 to start. And for adults, it's about $70, $90. So it's not necessarily going to be the biggest budget item in your hockey gear.
Ken, thank you so much for teaching us everything we need to know about sticks. Let's go shop for one, boys. Mine doesn't seem to want to score any goals, so let's go pick some out.